welcome to the Knit Sibs, a podcast by three yarn obsessed sisters. I'm Julie.
I'm Valerie.
And I'm Gloria.
And we're going to start today with just a reminder to go check us out on Instagram. We are at Knit Sibs. If you follow us this month, we're doing the Fiberuary Challenge hosted by Creative CC, which is at Creative CCCECI on Instagram. And you'll be able to learn a little bit more about us. So go check us out on Instagram as at Knit Sibs. So we had a giveaway on the past few weeks on Instagram and on our YouTube for a couple of yarn cozies made by Val. So just like that one. So thank you to everyone who entered. We announced our winner over on Instagram, and the winner was Megan, who is MCM7780. So congratulations, Megan.
Congratulations.
Val will get that in the mail for you very soon once she's back at her own house. So. All right, let's start with our first segment, which is Off the Needles. How about Gloria? You want to go first?
Sure. I have an Off the Needles this week. And it is so exciting. Shawlography is off the needles.
Oh my goodness.
It's off the needles. It's not, I didn't wind in, I didn't weave in the ends yet. I have a few ends still to weave in, and I haven't blocked it yet, but it is done and it is beautiful. And I did brioche. The border took like forever to do. They look like small stripes, but for some reason they took me a really long time to do them.
It's a lot of knitting.
Yeah. There's like 53 stripes or something. It was insane.
Yeah.
So once it's blocked, you get a nice close look there. Once it's blocked, I'll post some good pictures of it. We actually went out yesterday, left the house and went out and did something yesterday. And the outfit I was wearing, it would have gone perfectly with my outfit, but it wasn't blocked yet, or the ends weren't woven in yet.
You're going to have to put that outfit back on to take pictures of you modeling the shawl.
Well, yes, of course. But yeah, so I haven't worn it yet, but it is officially off the needle.
Well, it looks great, and I think your color choices were perfect.
Yep.
Well, they were Emma's color choices.
Your choice of Emma's kit was perfect.
Yes, I picked the right kit. So it is, of course, Shawlography by Stephen West. It was the Mystery Knit Along 2021 Mystery Knit Along, and the yarn I used was Emma's Yarns. It was a Shawlography kit, and the kit name was Tallahassee. So it has a white color, it has a gold, a red, and two grays. So I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy that I decided to try the brioche because I did it and it looks amazing. And I love it. I love the weird shrimpy things in here. I love it. I love everything about it.
Are you nervous about blocking it at all?
No, because he does like a little tutorial on blocking it. And he didn't even pin it.
Oh, okay.
Like he was like, just lay it out. Like, you can pin it if you want, if you really want to pull it. You can like give it an aggressive blocking. But he literally just like laid it out, like smoothed out the edges. I don't know where I'm going to put it to block it because it's big. So I don't know if I have 2 sets of blocking mats and I don't know if I'm going to have enough to lay it out.
Well, if you're laying it out, you don't even need blocking mats. You can just do it on a blanket or something.
I guess. Yeah. But I'm nervous about like where I'm going to put it so that it will lay flat so I can like, smooth it out. And but I think it's going to grow. Like I'm hoping this will like, you'll see, you'll open up and it'll lay a little bit more flat. Like you'll see all that in there because that was a lot of work too. And I want to be able to see it.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like the rest of it doesn't really need like an aggressive blocking. Like
Yeah, it
know,
doesn't
like-
look very wonky or anything. It doesn't look like it needs.
Yeah, it just needs like the edges like straightened out, and you know, the border is a little like wavy. So I think, you know, again, when you just like kind of smooth it all out, I think it'll lay flat.
Yeah.
But yeah. My
Very
first
cool.
finished Stephen West.
Lovely. All right.
That's it.
All right, I'll go next with my finished objects. So I have 2 finished objects this week. The first one is a hat,
Ooh.
and this is gonna be for our mom. And this is called, oh, it needs to be folded up a little better. It's called the
Not
Easy
showing it
Hat.
off real well there.
Yeah, I know. It's called the Easy Hat by Vardhman Knitting Yarn. It's knit in Universal Yarns, Cotton Supreme Waves. The colorway is called Lagoon. It's like it's not really self-striping, it's too much, but I guess a gradient. The pom-pom is from Webs. And this was my attempt at a crocheted hat. I wanted to make something in cotton because cotton's supposed to be, she's got sensitive skin. Cotton's supposed to be better on sensitive skin. And I was a little worried about knitting it because it doesn't I didn't think the cotton would stretch like wool does, you
Right.
know? So I did a
It tends
crochet
to, well,
one.
the cotton tends to stretch and then not bounce back.
Yeah. So I did, it's a crochet like faux rib thing. So I'm hoping that like, you know, she can wash it if it gets like nasty, and then it'll be back at its regular size. Like she won't have to worry about it shrinking or anything. It'll be back to its regular size. She can wear it over, if she's wearing a beanie underneath or something like that, she can wear it over it and just kind of give her a little extra warmth when she's outside.
Does
So
the pom-pom button off?
the pom-pom is, so it's sewed on, but it is a button, like it can come off if
I
she
love
wants
that.
to. But then
Hmm.
there's just like an empty button there.
Mhm.
So
But you can take it off to wash.
right, you can take it off to wash it. But this was like a pain in the butt to knit, to crochet. I kept losing track of like what the beginning of the row was and what stitch I needed to go into. I'm not very good with crochet. So it was kind of a pain in the butt, but it's done. And I'm glad it's done. So I don't have to do another crochet hat for a while, hopefully. And then I have a second finished object that I love.
Yay.
That's the Juniper Cowl by Toni Lipsey. And she is TL YarnCrafts everywhere that she is on social media. And this is
on.
the Spun Right Round mini set in the colorway Cauldron. It is basically to pattern. The only thing I changed was, so I got to, I don't know, maybe around here or something. And that was my last decrease round. And I thought this was a bit much to do without another, increase round. And I thought this was too much to do without another increase round. So I added an extra increase round in, and then you can't see it on the bottom, but you'll be able to see it on the top. I did not do the called for border. The idea that single what was it? Reverse single crochet?
Reverse single crochet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way it looked on most people's finished objects. It just kind of looked a little too, I don't know if sloppy is the right word. It just didn't look as polished as I thought the rest of the cowl looked. So I just did 2 rounds of single crochet. I like the contrast color on the top. I just didn't like the stitch, so I changed it. And so that is
put it
all
on. Let's see how it fits.
Okay, I'll put it on because I was having some concerns because mine was quite a bit smaller than Val and Gloria's. So it is not as loose around the neck, I think, as you guys's were. So it's a little bit tighter, but I don't mind that because if I'm going to wear this, I'm going to wear it under my coat going somewhere. So it being against my neck is fine with me. But that's what it looks like.
Very nice.
I love the colors.
Is it just the 10 colors of the, did you add anything
I didn't add anything.
Okay.
It's just the 10 colors in the mini set. So I'm very happy with it.
It came out great.
Yeah, it
Thanks.
looks good.
It still smells like the wool wash. I use eucalyptus with a little bit of lavender scent in it. Oh, it smells so good.
I need to order more.
Yeah.
I need to get, I've never had, and I need to get some. And me and Val went to the yarn store Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And they had it there, and I was like, oh, I should get this. And then, we picked out yarn, and then we walked out of the store, and I was like, I didn't get the wool wash.
Yeah, so that's all my finished objects. Val, what do you have?
I also have a finished Juniper Cowl.
Yay!
So mine is in the hue Loco, November birthstone set. Mine is pretty much to pattern, except I did not actually count the rows between my increases. So I did put a stitch marker, and I knew I had to increase, like, I don't know, every 6 to 8 rounds. So that's what I did. It's when I remembered to go back and look to see where my stitch marker was. And I was like, oh, it's been 8 rounds. I'll increase now. Sometimes I increased at 6, sometimes at 7, but I didn't go more than 8. And I didn't even realize that there was a point that you stopped doing increases at. So I just, kept doing the increases to the end. I'm a little more of a like, kind of do what you want crafter. So that's what I did with this. I did do the crab stitch, the reverse single crochet. I used my color 8. I haven't blocked this yet, so it is still a little wonky. So this is what it looks like. I'm hoping that's coming in clear. And then on the bottom, it's the color that I finished with. And I'm not sure if this is inside out at this point or not, but
I don't think there is an inside out.
Well, just if the reverse single crochet looks different from the inside versus the
Gotcha.
outside. Here's the other side of the reverse single crochet. It does like a little scallopy kind of a thing. So I'll put mine on as well. I've worn it to work a couple of times already. And it actually goes really well with my winter coat. My winter coat's like a burnt orange kind of a color. And I am very happy with it. I love it. I love the colors. There you go.
Looks good.
The only thing that I might have changed if I do it again is maybe not put the white as the color that's against my face, because I feel like there's more opportunity for it to get dirty. Not that I don't actually wear makeup, but if I did, like, my makeup could be like rubbing off on it. But I'm very happy, and I would make another one without a doubt. So that's my Juniper Cowl. And then the other thing that I'm counting as an off the needles, even though no needles or hooks of any kind were involved, is my yarn.
Very pretty.
Thank you. This is 3 Water Farms in the colorway Pebbles and Dirt. That's the little logo thing. So this is her sock blend. It's a superwash merino and nylon. I've been on a mission to spin a 3-ply sock yarn. This is probably the closest I've gotten. This is about 350 yards for 4 ounces. So I need more than that. So it's not quite thin enough. I need to spin thinner and with more twist. But I just have to say, the woman who is behind this company, I don't know her name. I haven't really looked into her social media to really see anything about her, but she just seems lovely. Anytime I post and tag 3 Water Farms in it, she'll say something encouraging. If I'm like, oh, I'm still trying to spin a 3-ply sock yarn, she'll be like, you'll get there, you can do it. She just seems absolutely lovely. So I have a whole bunch of this blend. I think I have like 4 more colorways in this blend that I'm just going to keep plugging away on and trying to get that 3-ply sock yarn. One day I'll get there. I don't know if I'm actually making socks with this. I haven't decided what it'll be yet, but I'm very happy with it. And I already have another of this blend in a rainbow color on my wheel right now that I have 2/3 of it spun up. So I'm looking forward to getting it finished.
That would make a very nice Musselburgh hat.
It probably would, but I'm already.
I know, you're already doing one.
So yeah. I feel like I need to knit something different at some point.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I don't have anything else finished. That's
okay.
It. All
right, so our next segment is on your needles. So Gloria, what do you have on your needles?
I have stuff on my needles. So my first on my needles is my Juniper Cowl. So I am still working on it because I was finishing my Shawlography. So this is where I am. I just added color 9, I think.
Okay.
So I'm almost done, but I think I am going to add a little bit more to it. I have some of the leftover gold from my Shawlography, and I have some like brown scraps left. So I'm debating if I want to add in both or if I just want to add the brown at the end to make like just to give it a little bit more length, because the one that I made for Mom, I really like the way that it drapes and the way that it kind of like pools. So I wanted to give it a little bit more length because I think after I did the last increase on Mom's, I think I still had like two or three like full colors left after I did the last increase round. So I wanted to get the similar kind of length to it. So I have
compared mine to Mom's, so the one I'm making will be exactly the same as the one that you're making. So the gauge on mine is exactly the same as the gauge on the one that you made for Mom, but it is Mom's is like 4 inches longer, and it's that length is very nice.
Yeah, so I wanted to add a little bit more to it. So I have like the gold left over from my Shawlography, and then I have these like gold and brown like scraps that I found. If I can show these. Like here's a gold one, and then I have like a gradient of browns from another project that I did. I can't get my fingers out of the way because they're like these little mini balls. But I figure, you know, if I add those in at the end, it'll give it a little bit more length. But I'm debating if I want to do like all of it or just the brown, like, or maybe do, you know, the brown like gradient of colors there. And see what that does. Because now I'm thinking I might want to save the gold for like like cuff, toe, heel on socks, because I think I have a stain of sock yarn that I think it will go really cool with, and I want to make a pair of socks for my friend. So I'm thinking I might save the gold for like toes and cuffs on a pair of socks, and then just do the browns.
How much gold do you have left? Did you weigh it?
Yeah, it's like 29 grams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's enough for either one, but it's not enough for both. Yeah. So I might just do the brown. I'll see, because I did like the extra length of the one that I made for Mom. So I wanted to try to make it the same. So I mean, I can check if I have any more brown, but then I don't want it to be like a big chunk of brown on the bottom where everything else is kind of smaller stripes. So I have to go through that and figure out exactly what I want to do with it. That's my first one. Second is my baby blanket that I've been working on. She is in the hospital as we speak.
Oh no.
So I need to finish it.
Crocheting.
Yes, she is in the hospital right now.
Oh boy.
So I need to work on that. And that is the Caron cotton cakes. I have a bunch of stuff. So the part of that February thing was the Olympic cast on, and I'm not casting anything on that I'm going to try to finish like while the Olympics are going on, but I wanted to try to finish something while the Olympics are going on. So I have these fingerless mitts that I had started making for my husband. You can see there's a little bit of a like a cable detail there. The pattern is the Thames fingerless mitts, fingerless gloves. And the yarn is Mustache in the Star Wars colorway. This is the Han Solo color. And he had requested fingerless mitts in a Star Wars colorway. So I started a while ago, and of course they decide. I'm going to try to close, although I'm going to finish the baby blanket. So what happens there? And then my last thing, one of my dreams has become a reality. So I started a temperature blanket and I absolutely love it. If you can see there, it started with like this greenish color, and then it had a light blue, and then like the rest of the month is going to be like these 3 colors.
Yeah.
So it's this is January, of course. I started with January. But it's like there's a dark blue, there's a lighter blue, and then the lightest blue there. I think I'm gonna have like one more stripe of that. Oh, and there's a dark gray. There's a dark gray that's gonna be in there too, for the month. It's a lot of fun, but I think this is going to become like my Sunday project. So I think like once I get caught up, I'll work on it on like Sunday and do the week. Because I don't see it being like I'm gonna crochet 1 row today. Like, I think it's going to be like pick it up on Sunday and do it for the week. But
And are you following a pattern?
I'm following temperature blanket. That's what it's called. Temperature blanket 2017 edition, by Nathalie Bouffard of knitalieco. And it is, so I said last time, she has it like literally, like she tells you every day of the year, and what color to use, like what the temperature was and what color to use. That's not what I'm following. So I'm following, my temperature for my town. And I'm using it as like a loose guideline of what to do. It's a linen stitch. So it's a nice, like low profile stitch. And then she does like she does like a separating row for each month. At the end of the month, there's like a row of white in between to separate each month. And I am doing, I think she had 12 colors in hers. I'm doing 10. So I have 10 colors plus the white. Yeah. But my question is, how do you weave an ends in crocheting?
I don't know.
Because this kind of sucks.
I just put it on a needle and run it down like the length. Actually, what I normally do is I just hold it on, like I stitch over it as I go, and then just cut it short. I
do as well, and it didn't work out well for me on the Juniper Cowl. I think we talked about that last.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it, but with the, like you said, a low profile stitch and it being a blanket instead of something wearable, I think it'll be fine. Yeah,
and this is a much denser stitch than that puff stitch. The puff stitch, there's, it's like the granny, like, there's the spaces in between. There's no spaces in between here.
Yeah. So I would just hold it and stitch over it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. I'll try that.
Yeah.
Because this.
No.
It's going to be a lot. You'll probably wind up with like 365 ends to weave in.
Or, 660 something.
Yeah, that's true.
But there is, I've had a lot of, two days in a row of the same color. Yeah. But I'm so super excited about this. I started it the other day and I'm like, I don't want to put it down. But I have so many other things to work on. But yeah, I really like it. I feel like I'm doing more crocheting than knitting right now. But I'm really super excited about this.
It looks good.
So, I think I'm going to do, it's my 25th anniversary next year in 2023. So I'm thinking I might do an anniversary temperature blanket, like for that year, starting on the day of our anniversary.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. So these are the colors I'm using.
Very nice.
You can see. So it starts with like a gray, and then it goes blues, and then it goes greens, and then I have the beige colors. But like, I don't think like this last one here is less than 0 degrees. I'm never gonna have a day less than 0 degrees. where the high temperature
Oh,
is
the
less than
high
30
temperature.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's never going to get used.
Yeah.
But I should have thought of that before I
Well, maybe
laid
you
it
can
all
use
out.
that as your dividing color between months, or you already did your first one.
Yeah, I did like a
Right.
pure white.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I didn't. I was just I just followed it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm never gonna have a day less than 0
Yeah.
degrees unless I like split up this last category and do like 1 to 10 and then
Mhm.
11 to 20, because the first category is 1 to 20. And I could probably do that because every other category is like 10 degrees and the first one is 1 to 20. So I could
Have
do
you
that.
had a 1 to 20 already? I mean, 1 to 10 already?
Not yet,
Not yet. Okay.
but I've had like 14, 18. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do 1 to 10 will be the palest gray. And then 11 to 20 will be the charcoal gray.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because the other ones are like, it's 1 to 20 and then it's 21 to 32, 33 to 43. So every other one, every
Is
other
around
color
10.
is 10 degrees. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited about it.
It looks good.
And that's it. That's all I have on my needles
All
that I'm
right.
actively working on.
I just have one thing that I'm actively working on. And this was also spurred on by the Fiber Ueri Olympic cast on. I am not doing an Olympic cast on, but I have my Advent project that I kind of abandoned, and I'm going to pick it back up again and attempt to finish it by the end of the Olympics. So I am on right now day 13 of my colors, I think. Maybe 14? No, 13, I think. So this is, it is the Cozy Comfort Throw by A Homespun House. The yarn is from Molly Girl Yarns. She had an Animal Crossing mini set thing, so.
I really
Very
like the
nice.
colors. It looks good.
So that's it so far, and it's held with a plain natural colored yarn with it. So it's 2 fingering wigs held together. It's decent size width-wise.
It looks it, yeah.
And so it'll be a nice, like on the couch, like couch throw TV when you're watching TV, like cover your lap kind of blanket. So that is kind of all that I'm working on right now. I really haven't picked anything else up. I'm really on a mission to get some whips finished and get some stuff put away. I think last time I showed this, which was a while ago, I think I was down here. This is my stitch marker. So somewhere around here. So I've done quite a bit since then. And honestly, I think probably from here has been since the last, well, yeah, it's been like in the last week or so. So I've gotten quite a bit done. Yeah, so that's it. That and my socks that live in my car, that when I'm finished with them, they'll come in and I'll show them to you guys. But that's it. So Val, what's been on your needles?
So I'm still working on the Musselburgh hat in the Knit Sibs dyed yarn. I still really love it. It doesn't really look great on this camera, but
I'll put a
let's see if I
picture
can-
in.
So I was knitting today and I was like, oh, this is so long. It has to be time to start the decreases. And I measured it and it's only 13.5 inches and it has to be like 20 or 21 inches before you start the decreases. So I still have quite a way to go. But I think I'm going to make it a little bit shorter because this is made to be either a slouchy beanie, like more, so, one end gets tucked into the other like that. And then it's meant to be either long enough to be a slouchy beanie or to fold the brim over. And I don't think George is going to fold the brim over or wear it as a slouchy beanie. So I want it to be just like a skull cap kind of length. So I think I'm going to shorten it a little bit. And he's not really going to wear something that's going to be super, super warm. I made one for my son to fold over his ears because he really wanted something warm. I think, George tends to get a little more overheated. So I think I'll just make it as a skull cap. So I'll be able to start the decreases soon because this is a, nice size for a skull cap.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about what I want to do, my plans for what I want to do with this, because I love I love the colors so much. I want to take a picture of the knitted fabric and send it to Spoon Flower, and they do those custom print fabrics. So I want to make a knit project bag.
Like
Yeah,
this.
like the one that you had gotten for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I got these for all of us. Yeah.
But I also want to get stretchy fabric and make like a skull cap out of fabric that has a knit print on it.
That's pretty
And
cool.
make skein cozies with stretchy fabric with the knit print. I think that would just be
That'd be pretty cool.
interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's my goal. I don't have the photography skills or the graphic design skills to like line up the picture right, because it has to be a repeatable square. So that way when they put all the squares together, it's just like one seamless pattern. So if anyone listening out there knows how to do that and you have any tips, let me know, because I think I just want to do some silly things with the
Your husband can't figure that out?
Your photographer husband?
Your photographer, fine arts
yeah,
major husband can't figure that out?
he doesn't do a good job of explaining things to me. I can't learn things.
So just have him do it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to explain it to you. He can just do it.
This is true. Yeah, I could have him just do it. Because I just need the picture. I need like a nice clear picture that's like straight, you know, where like the rows are straight and the columns are straight. And it could just be sent in and be repeatable.
Or it doesn't even have to be repeatable. You can just have it like the one that Gloria just showed, that bag. It's just blown up enough that you would be able to cut a piece out of whatever you were doing. So
yeah, I could do that too. But the Spoon Flower fabric is kind of expensive. It's like $20 something a yard. So I want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
Before I order it. And then my other project, I don't know if we're going to get cut off on this, but my other project is I did decide to do an Olympic cast on. And I was you guys were talking about a cowl that I think you're going to talk about later, that you were talking about maybe getting a kit for. And I was like, I just have too much. I really like the cowl. But I was becoming overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I own. So I went stash diving in my chest and I came up with this yarn. This is Gauge Dyeworks. It's their shawl yarn called Whiskey in a Teacup. And if you could see here, it's half of the yarn is a self-striping and then the other half is a solid. And they have a pattern that goes with it. And I'll talk about, you know, how she dyes her yarn, but this is the pattern also is Whiskey in a Teacup. And I am a big fan of putting whiskey in my teacup on the weekend. So I liked it right off the bat. But it stripes on one end and then it goes into a solid. But the way that she dyes it, I don't understand the math involved in this, but she dyes it so that when you're doing an increasing shawl, you could do it like a center increase shawl or this way, like side to side, the length of the stripes stay consistent. So I have this much done so far. I cast on actually the night before the opening ceremonies because there was some ice skating on and we were watching ice skating and I thought it was appropriate to cast on because the Olympics had started. But I love the colors.
Those colors are great. Yeah.
Yeah, really. The only thing that I don't love is that it curls like a seashell. So it is going to need some kind of aggressive blocking. There's a yarn over it at one end of this, and every row starts with a slip stitch, and then there's a decrease on one row. So you're actually increasing one stitch every other row. Mm-hmm. And this is basically just stockinette stitch with like some texture thrown in. And then once it gets to the gray part, there are different textures that come in. So it's, I don't know exactly what I'm doing when I get to the gray part, but there's like separate instructions for that. Okay, so that's all that's on my needles right now.
All right, so on to our next segment, in your dreams. I can go first. I have two in my dreams. First is one that I bought the yarn for right when I had the chance to, and that's the After Some Cowl. I'll put a picture in here for you guys. or for everyone watching, but Val and Gloria, it's that one with the girl in the library holding books. This is the yarn from Plies and Hellhounds. She had an update the other day with all the colors for the shawl, and I am
Those
doing
are very me colors.
They are very you colors, but it's not for you, it's for me. So it's not me colors at all. It's not a me shawl at all, but for some reason I just loved it. And not even in the picture, like I liked it in the picture, but she has a podcast and I saw her wearing it on the podcast and she was talking about it and it was just gorgeous. And I said, I need it, and I need it exactly as you knit it. So I got her yarn, and that is going to be hopefully a soon cast on, but we'll see. I've got to get some other stuff off the needles. So that's my first in my dreams. My next in my dreams is a new book. I know, right? Brioche knitting.
How did I not know about this before just now?
Because you don't watch enough podcasts. It's been on a lot of podcasts.
No, you had it.
I just got it the other day because I saw it on a bunch of podcasts and they were flipping through the book and I was like, holy crap, I want to make all of those things. This is the one that sold me on it. It is called Striking and Dynamic. Look at that thing.
Striking and dynamic.
It is, right?
Yes, it is.
So I want to make that.
Do a brioche shawl that could be knit with like an advent kit, I think. That wasn't from the book, right?
No, it wasn't. That was Jonathan Tallow, I think.
But I don't think that was 25 colors. I think it was like 16 or something.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Like, I don't think it was a full advent.
I thought it called for a full advent.
I don't know. I'd have to look into it a little more.
This one is called Drama and Energy. So I think I need to make some brioche hats because they look super snuggly. And then this one, this is a sweater called Mist. Look at that, the whole bottom brioche.
Very pretty.
So I want to make like.
I have never knit brioche. I feel like I'm like off trend right now.
Well, it is.
Well, you are.
Yeah, you are. But not even just the patterns, but there's a whole like introduction section to it, and it works its way through from like one color brioche to multicolor brioche. At the end of the patterns, it gives like how to block it and stuff like that. So I think it'll just be even if I don't make anything in it right away, it'll be a good resource for going on, like, because I am going to make more brioche. I enjoy it. I like the way the fabric comes out. So this is by Leslie Ann Robinson, and she is on Instagram as Graffiti Knitter, Knit Graffiti. Hold on, I have it written down. Knit Graffiti on Instagram, and she's got a wonderful Instagram too, full of brioche. So definitely worth checking out. So that was my second in my dreams, and my third in my dreams, and this is the last thing, is a cross stitch kit I got the other day. And look, it says wool and has a sheep on it. So I haven't done cross stitch in a while, and I watched this podcast. It's called Treehouse Fiber Arts, and she makes kits. It all comes with everything you need. So I'm super excited to get started on that. So that's it. That's all in my dreams. Glor, what's in your dreams?
My in my dreams is the goat cowl, which has nothing to do with Tom Brady and him announcing his retirement. Totally coincidental. It's called the Goat Cowl by Laura Dobratz, who owns Four Pearls. So of course they put together some Emma's Yarns kits, and of course I ordered one. So I was looking at the kits, and okay, so first of all, it's like it's a nice big cowl. It has a nice, like, I don't know what you call it, but it's got like a line of stitches that kind of like stand out, like, the rest of it's purled and it's this one like line of knit stitches. And I'm really into that look right now, that like one line of stitches that like pops out. I really like that. And it's marled. So it's 2 strands held together. It's 7 mini skeins.
I'll insert a better picture than this, but there you go.
So I like the size of it. It's 7 mini skeins. And I was looking at the kits that they had, and they have the one that Julie just showed is like a gray and gold, which I really, really liked, but I did like, you know, my Shawlography just had gray and gold in it. So I wanted to do something different. Then they had one that was pink and green that was beautiful, but I feel like I have a lot of pink from Emma's yarn. So I'm like, I probably have like 3 kits already that have this pink color in it. So I needed something different. So I went with they have a purple one. So it's like purple and gray. And I think it goes to like a deep, like reddish purple. So that's the one that I got. I'm waiting for it to come. It should come tomorrow. Who knows when I'll ever knit it, but it will, the kit will be arriving tomorrow. And I'm super excited about it. I don't have a lot of purple right now in my yarn stash. So I think it's a good addition. I'm just a little nervous because I feel like there's not as much gradient of color in it, you know, like it's like a gray to purple, but I feel like some of the other ones, like it almost goes like white in the middle and then like completely transitions to another color.
Mhm.
So I feel like there's not that like huge transition from one color to the other. But I think it'll be a nice addition to my wardrobe to have something purple, because I don't have a lot of purple.
Yep.
So that's the one I went with. So
It'll fill a gap in your.
yes, the purple gap that I'm feeling right now. Because I have a lot of pink, I have a lot of gold. I love pink and gold together. I love rose gold. I just had gotten a couple blue things, so I think this purple will be nice. So that's all I have in my dreams right now, because I started my temperature blanket. So yeah, it's not in my dreams anymore.
Mhm.
How about you, Val?
I have 2 in my dreams this week. The first one is really just to knit more from my stash. So like I was saying with the whiskey in a teacup, when we were talking about an Olympic cast on and you guys were talking about your new yarn purchases for your cowl and for your shawl, I went into my chest where I keep like my nicer yarns. I have things under my bed for my yarns that I'm probably not really as excited about. And then I have a bunch of yarns in my basement in containers, but I have a chest in my living room where I have my nice yarns that I pull from more often. So I went digging in there just to see what I had. And I had all of these kits that I forgot about. So I had the whiskey in a teacup. I have another 2 skeins of yarn from Gauge Dyeworks to make another shawl. I can't remember what it was called. From Telly Bean Knits, the one with the, you know, like a big V in the middle. I have the Paper Daisy kit that we got, you know, fake Rhinebeck, Gloria.
That's right.
Come together.
Oh yeah.
Completely forgot about. I have the Lorelei shawl that I got yarn for that I need a solid and a multicolored yarn, so I plan on spinning for the multicolor. So I have all of these projects that are fully formed, like just sitting in my chest that are waiting for me. So instead of buying more stuff, I really want to go back to some of those projects that I was super excited about and actually make them.
Closet full of kits, and I still work hard.
Yeah. So I want to just go back. I don't have like a spare bedroom. I don't have a closet I could put, like, I don't have the space for it. So I don't have a playroom. I don't have room to keep any of this stuff. So it needs to get used because it's.
You have 2 kids that are away at college,
but they come back. So I can't use their bedrooms for like something else until they're gone. Like I can use it while they're away. Like Devin's room is my yoga studio when she's not home, and I block all of my projects in Georgie's room. But then when they come home, they actually have to use their bedrooms. So until they're out,
just for a couple months.
But they also don't take all of their stuff. Like there's no room in their bedrooms for me to do this. So I love my kids, but I am looking forward to converting the rooms to a craft room and an exercise room.
Yeah. You know what I've been doing with my kits lately is, or when I buy yarn for something specific, I'll put it in like a large Ziploc bag and write on the outside of it what I want to make, and I print out the pattern and I put it in the bag.
I
And
do
then
that
like,
too.
I
Yeah.
can just pick it up and go and grab the needles, you know?
Yeah. I have like my social distancing kit is in a project bag with the needles, with the stitch markers, with the pattern, like everything is in there ready to go.
Yeah.
That's another one that I need to get to. So I want to get to some of these projects that I really loved and was excited about and had to have the yarn immediately. So I'm hoping to get to some of that. So that's my first in my dreams. My second in my dreams is a little more specific. I want to make either a shift cowl or a night shift shawl. And that is by, who is that by? Andrea Mowry. So they're designed for spin cycle yarns. The cowl is the 2-ply fingering yarn. I forget what the name of that is in spin cycle. And the shawl is the 3-ply worsted weight. So I've spoken about School of Sweet Georgia before. So School of Sweet Georgia did a YouTube video on spinning for the shift cowl. And I went back and I watched that again recently. Thanks a lot, Julie.
You're welcome.
So now I really want to spin for either the shift cowl or the night shift shawl. So the spin cycle yarns tend to have a lot of variation in their colors. So the shift cowl, I think, calls for 2 colors and the night shift shawl calls for 3, but you can have a skein of yarn that looks like kind of striped.
The shawl is like 6 colors.
Yeah.
So I think the cowl is like 3.
The cowl's 3.
And I think the shawl is like 6.
5 or 6. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you could have a skein of yarn, but it might like stripe differently and like, you know, have a bunch of different colors in it. So it looks like it has way more colors than it actually does. So my plan is to pick which weight I want to spin for and spin for the project and try to figure out how to replicate something that kind of looks like spin cycle when I spin. So I think it should have like some striping and a lot of marling to look like a spin cycle.
I think
but
your best bet will be a 2-ply fractal spin.
Yeah.
That seems to be like, because there's a lot of barber pulling in their stuff. And I think that's probably your best bet.
Yeah. So I think this could probably go in. If I spun this 2-ply, this definitely could go in, but I think it's a 3-ply. Even though Spin Cycle has 3-ply, I think these colors are a little too blended. I think a fractal is a better idea for spinning for the shift and the night shift. And I've also seen a lot of spinning when we did Tour de Fleece. A lot of people were spinning for a shift sweater. So yeah, that seems like a lot to me. But it's a slip stitch pattern, the shift and the night shift. And I think it would look really great in hand spun. So I do have a decent size fiber stash. So I also want to, instead of buying new fiber for this, I want to go into my stash and find colors that'll work well together.
Yeah.
So that kind of complement each other, but they also have to have enough contrast that you can see the slip stitches. So I feel like that's going to take a level of planning that I'm usually not capable of. And it's also, it's like a long project because I'll have to do all of the spinning and I'll have to spin it all in the same way. And we know that I tend to lose focus after.
So do the cowl. I say aim for the cowl.
It'll be quicker. Yeah. But it's just, I think it's beautiful. And I think it's a good way to use up some of the stuff that I already own. And I tend to buy a lot of just 4-ounce braids of fiber. And what do you do with 4 ounces other than a cowl or a hat? So I think this is a good use for it. And I think you could probably make the woman from Sweet Georgia, Felicia, I think her name is, said that she had a ton left over after making her cowl, that she probably could have made a whole second cowl out of it. And I think she did spin a 4-ounce braid of fiber for hers. So I think it'll be plenty of yarn.
Yeah. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, if it actually gets done. I hope I actually do it.
Yeah.
So I have to dig in my fiber stash. My fiber stash is kind of all over the place too. I have a lot of that like in my bedroom and a lot of it in the chest and a lot of it in the basement. So I have to decide. I have to pull it all together.
Out one day.
Yeah, make a huge pile and pick out what colors I'm going to use.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, so on to our next segment, which is Outlier Crafts. And do either of you have any Outlier Crafts?
I actually don't have any this week.
No.
No.
All right. I just have a little one, which I don't know whether we decided these would go in. I guess spinning is not going in Outlier Craft, but whatever. It's Outlier Craft for me this week. I've been spinning. I watch, I don't know if you watch this ever, Val, Woolen Spinning podcast. It's a podcast all about spinning and spinning techniques, and it's lovely and I love it. And the girl who runs it.
What's it called?
Woolen Spinning.
Okay.
It's by a girl who goes by Welford Pearls on her Instagram and everything. And I think her name is Rachel. And she has like this wonderful Patreon community and everything. And they do like spinning together, and she does live videos and everything. I'm not in her Patreon, but I'm considering it because they're like a wealth of knowledge, that group of women or people. I believe there's some men in it as well. But so she's been spindle spinning this like huge Cormo fleece. And I was like, you know what? I want to get my spindle out and I want to spin a little bit. I'm not very good on my spindles, but I got this one over the summer at a Renaissance fair. There was a woman who had hand turned. The other person with her, something like that. She turns these herself. And I just thought it was beautiful. So I got it. And so I just have a Rolag that I had gotten for free with a purchase. And it started out as purple. I'll put a picture in it of it, but it went in purple and then went to this like gold fire star material. And then now it's going to blue. And it's from the Woolly Witch, who does luxury Rolags. And it's just like to play around with, because it's been so long since I've done spindle, and I don't know if I've ever even finished a yarn that's been spun on a spindle. Like I spin on my wheel more than I do my spindles, and I just kind of play around on the spindles, but I want to go through and actually finish it. Like I want to get it off of the spindle, like however you do that. I think I have a Nostipinna, so I'd probably use that to get it off and make a center pull ball and then ply it into a 2-ply. But that's all I know how to do. I don't know how to make a 3-ply off a spindle. I don't know any of that. So I'm hoping to just kind of play around with this little Rolag and see what happens. And then I'd like to have just kind of a spindle project going for whenever I just kind of want to pick it up and take a break from knitting. So
I picked up my spindle a couple of months ago. I have a collection of spindles. And also I have never finished a yarn on my spindle. So I took it out. I took one of the spindles out a couple of months ago, and I'm just really, really bad at spindle spinning. I'm not good at it.
I'm not good at it either. And Rachel does, I think it's Rachel, does drop spindle spinning. She's done that for years, but she's just gotten into support spindles where like you put it in like a bowl. Yeah, like you put it in a bowl and you spin it, and then you like the fiber comes off the end and stuff. Yeah. And that looks really interesting to me because I don't enjoy standing up like in front of the TV and spinning. I would probably like it more like in the summer, maybe being outside and standing outside and spinning, but just standing in my den and spinning, I don't enjoy that. So I think I would more enjoy doing spindle spinning where I'm, sitting on the couch, or support spindle spinning. So I see some beautiful, beautiful yarns that are very fine and consistent and absolutely gorgeous. And sometimes people will post pictures of their spindles on Instagram, and the way that they're wrapped, like the Turkish spindles, the way that they're wrapped is just so gorgeous. I can't make something resembling yarn on my spindle. I can only do super thin. Like that is like 2 strands of embroidery floss thin. I don't know how to I can't do any thicker. And I mean, that's fine for now, but I would like to, I mean, it's nice to spin thin, because then I feel like I can do a lot with it, but I just want to know how to control it to do thicker. I don't know how to do that. Like every time I try and do thicker, I wind up with like this slubby, nasty yarn. So I just want to learn to control it better, I guess. So I think that's all of our Outlier Crafts. Our next segment is on the nightstand. So Gloria, you haven't talked in a while. What's on your nightstand?
Well, I don't spin.
I know,
so
not yet. We'll get you there. Don't worry.
I don't know. Like I told you, I have a closet full of kits.
Yeah, well, soon you have a closet full of fiber.
So I finished a history of wild places. Is that what it was called? A history of wild places. I finished that. It was very good. I put it away so that I could bring it next time I go up to mom and dad's. So I don't have it with me. But it was very good. I try not to read reviews before I read books because like I feel like it sways my opinion. But I feel like I read some of the reviews and people were like, oh, I saw the twist coming. I knew what was going to happen. And I didn't see it coming from a mile away. Like I figured there was something going on in the cult, but I didn't quite figure it out before it was revealed. So I like that. I like when I can't figure it out. I like when I don't figure it out. So I like that. But there was a little bit of, and it's from Book of the Month, and I don't know what category they had it in. It might have been like magical realism or something, because there is a little bit of an aspect of like you have to suspend your disbelief when reading it. So I like that too. You know, I liked that aspect of it, that they went there, you know. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. So good. That was a good one. And then I started The Maid by Nita Prose. So this also is a book of the month. They have it as a like thriller or mystery or something. And it's about this maid that works in a fancy hotel. And one of the guests, she finds a guest dead. And then somehow she becomes the main suspect.
Okay.
But like she's like on the spectrum. So it's something about like, I don't know, I could read you the inside jacket, but it's like because she is on the spectrum and the way that she like reacts to things, it makes her the main suspect. And then like, you know, the description says that like her friends rally around her to find, you know, what really happened. And I'm like, I don't know, like a third of the way through it already. And like, she's not the main suspect yet. So it's like, so when is she going to become the main suspect?
Yeah.
And like, when is this like, you know, rallying of her friends around her going to happen? Because like, it seems like there's something a lot more like sinister going on. In my opinion, of what's going on here, because like the jacket makes it sound like it's going to be this like kind of campy, like, you know, oh, you know, let's all get together and figure out what really happened because she didn't do it, you know, but like there's something a lot more sinister going on, which, you know, I don't know yet what is going on in this hotel, but it's not quite like the jacket makes it seem like it's going to be a lot more like lighthearted, and it's not. It's a little bit heavier than I expected it to be, and I'm still waiting for her to like become the main suspect.
I thought when first of all, I think this is already optioned to be like a TV show or a movie or something. I think that's already in the works.
Yeah.
But when I first heard about it, it reminded me a lot of The Flight Attendant.
I haven't read it yet. God, Neil Boulijan or something.
Yeah.
Is that the one that they made into the HBO miniseries with the Kelly Cuoco?
Yeah. And the series was very different. I didn't finish it, but it was very different than the book. But the book had the same kind of premise. You know, there's like a dead person and she becomes involved in, you know, potentially being a suspect. But it sounds really good, but then your review doesn't sound quite as good.
No, it's good. It's good.
It's just different.
It's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying the description of the book, the jacket description of the book is not the book that I'm reading.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she is like, she's like I said, I'm like a third of the way through, and she is not the main suspect yet, but she is like, she found the body, like she is in the middle of what's going on here, and there's something else going on around her. But what I'm seeing is not her friends rallying to figure out what's going on. It's her friends manipulating her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm seeing. But it is good. She, she's quirky. She's an interesting character, and I think it's going to be an interesting story. But the book that I'm reading is not the jacket description of what the book is. Yeah, and I heard I saw something on the author was on like Good Morning America or something, and I think Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's gonna be in it. I think she's gonna be Molly. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, that's what I'm reading.
Okay. I was reading this and I finished it, Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley, and it was really good. But it was a really good book. It is definitely a solid like YA book where they like nothing is left to your imagination. They're going to explain why she feels this way every second of the book, like which is good. It was a really good book. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely some twists and turns. And it was really good. So I'll leave that one for you guys. And then I started.
That one's glorious.
What?
Okay. I almost bought it.
But
I almost bought
the
it
Firekeeper's Daughter?
Yeah, I almost bought it at some bookstore I was at, and I decided not to.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't, because now I'll get your copy.
So then I started this Nobody, Somebody, Anybody by Kelly McClory. And this one I had picked up at Barnes & Noble one day just because of the cover. 100%
the cover would have done it.
I would too.
Yeah. And then like I read the description inside and I was like, oh, it sounds kind of cute. Like I was thinking of this like millennial coming of age type thing. It's in current day, despite the picture, about a woman who is a maid at like a yacht club, and she's studying to become an EMT. And they say specifically in it that it is a tender and laugh out loud funny story. It is not a tender and laugh out loud funny story. It is like the most awkward, like Michael Scott comedy type thing from The Office. Like every moment you're like cringing when she does something, because she's just like, she's not a stable person. She's very delusional. She's got a lot going on right now. And it is not a lighthearted, funny look at anything. It's disturbing. You're like, wait, why did you just lie about that? Why are you like and it says it on the cover, so I'm not going to give anything away here, but it's like she is so she's taking this EMT test to become an EMT, and she doesn't have enough confidence in herself, she doesn't think. So she sets up this placebo thing where she's like tells everyone she already passed it and she is an EMT, so that when other people believe it, like she'll be able to believe it herself and go into her test confidently. And you're just like, why would you like do, like, it's just every moment I'm just cringing and I'm like, why did you make that decision? That was a bad decision. So I'm not really enjoying it that much, but I really just want to know whether she gets to be an EMT or not.
Just
like
get to the
end. I'm
She
tempted.
deserves to be an EMT.
At this point, I'm like 2/3 of the way through. So and it's not like, I mean, it's big words on the page. It's fine. I can get through it in a couple of days, I'm sure, but I just want to know what happens, but I'm cringing every second I'm reading this book. So, and that's all I've got. I've got one on my Kindle, but I don't remember the name of it, so I'll talk about it next time. So what do you have, Val?
So I have finished Love and Other Disasters. So this is a romance set within a cooking competition TV show.
Cool.
And I really liked it. I thought that piece of it was really fun. I am a big fan of cooking competition shows. And then the like twist that makes this a little different than a typical romance is that it does have a non-binary character. So some of that comes into play as well. It's really not the focal point of the story though. It's, you know, one of them happens to be non-binary and that's addressed. But it was cute. It was just a typical romance. I enjoyed it. And I really liked the setting of it being in a, you know, cooking competition. I also finished on audio, and I don't have a picture of it, The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. That was one that was set in London. And it's about this reading list that and one of the main characters is a librarian, another one is a widower, and everyone is struggling with something. And they all kind of come together around this mysterious reading list that like people are kind of finding hidden all over the place. It was cute. It was, you know, cute. So what I'm reading now is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I'm hoping this is a nice hefty book. I'm hoping this will count as my long book for the book of the month, even though I got it last year. It's very sad. I'm only 67 pages in. It hasn't made me cry yet, but I already lent this to one of my friends, and she said it's very sad. She's like, every turn of the page, something horrific is happening. So we'll see how I get through this, but it starts in the 20s, and then it moves into the Dust Bowl of the 30s and drought and the Great Depression and everything. And I'm also reading on audio My Friend Anna it's called My Friend Anna, The True Story of a Fake Heiress by Rachel Deloche Williams. I'm still doing a lot of driving, so I'm still doing quite a bit of audiobooking. And this is a woman in New York City recently, just like a couple of years ago, like swindling all of these socialites out of all of this money. And it's read by the author. And I did read some reviews, and there was some criticism of like the author's perspective from it, because the author is someone who was swindled by her. So it opens up with them in Morocco, and this woman, Anna's credit card for whatever reason isn't working, like her debit card isn't working, and she's like negotiating with the bank, and she asks the author, Rachel, to just put the trip on their credit card. Now they're staying in like this luxury hotel that's $7,500 a night, and they have a private butler, and there's like a personal trainer with them, and they're being followed by a videographer. It's like this whole thing, and this woman puts this enormous trip on her credit card. And the first thing I thought was like, I don't even have a credit card that has a limit high enough to charge something like that. And she's just like, oh yeah, I'll put it on my credit card, and you can wire me when we get back to New York. So now they're kind of like rewinding to their first meeting. So the reason that I started listening to this on audiobook was because it's going to be the story of this woman, Anna DuVernay, I think her name is, DuVernay, is going to be a Netflix show with the woman who plays Ruth from Ozark as the main character, playing Anna. I don't know if either of you guys watch Ozark, but she's the woman with the curly blonde hair. She's great. So I wanted to get a little bit of background on the story. And I've been furiously Googling while I'm listening to it. So I like to go back and like read some of like the newspaper articles and some of the reporting and stuff on, you know, what happened and what the fallout was.
Yeah.
When I'm reading a true story like this. So it's been very interesting how people are just so easily manipulated, and how they like so easily just bought into her story, and she was just cheating everyone, like left, right, and center.
Yeah.
So
I have the book. I haven't read it yet, but I have the book. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to listen to it before watching the Netflix show. So,
Yeah.
and it was available. It was one of those things that was available. I subscribed to Scribd. So if something's available on Scribd, I usually listen to it through there.
Yeah.
So I figured I would just take advantage of the available book.
Very cool.
So that's all I'm reading.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the show. So thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram as @KnitSibs. And especially for the month of February, you'll be learning a lot about us as we do the February challenge. So thank you for watching, and happy knitting.
Happy knitting.